everyone. Welcome to the Emerging Technology video series. Today we are going to talk to Nirupa Chander, who started her career in electronics engineering and is currently leading the power system business of Schneider Electric in Middle East and Africa. I met Nirupa during a Women in Industry Award ceremony in the year 2016, and since then we have been in touch. Welcome, Nirupa, to the Emerging Technology video series. Please, could you take us through your excellent career journey?
Hello, hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm Nirupa Chander. I look after the power systems business of Schneider Electric across Middle East Africa. And I'm based in Dubai, which is where I'm speaking to you. I'm an electronics engineer by education, and I started in this industry in India, where I was working in the power generation sector at a time when there was a lot of investment in thermal gas and coal-fired power stations built out of the electrical to serve the big demand of India. So I was working in that industry, and following about 5 years in that in India, I moved to Australia, which is where I actually met Geeta, and which is why I'm speaking to you today. And in Australia, I worked there for about 10 years for a company called ABB, and I was at the time starting off as a project engineer, worked on several different industries, including utilities, and mining, in renewables, in water, and started by managing projects to moving on to running operations, which was really quite a fulfilling career over the 10 years, with quite a variety of interesting and technically challenging projects in my time. Following that, I was 5 years in Singapore, where I was again working for ABB and Hitachi Energy, and started moving into more leadership roles in the company. And my last job was as the country manager for Singapore for Hitachi Energy. And now for the last nearly 2 years, I've been in Dubai, and I look after the power systems business across Middle East Africa, which, as you know, is quite a dynamic region with lots of different challenges, but a very interesting, dynamic, a very diverse region with lots of growth opportunities, also lots of challenges, but nevertheless very, very interesting and a lot of fun.
Very interesting to hear about you starting your career as a project engineer in India, then moving to Australia as a project manager, operations manager in power generations, renewables, ABB Singapore, and now the Vice President of Power Systems in Middle East Africa at Schneider Electric. What an amazing journey. Could you tell us what motivated you to become an electrical engineer?
I suppose reflecting back a little bit, I was always pretty good at the STEM subjects, maths, physics, chemistry. So I always had an inclination towards those subjects, and the inspiration behind that probably came from home, from my family, where a very traditional Indian middle class mindset was to either become an engineer or a doctor. And as I evolved, I was very clear by the time I finished year 12 that I was going to head towards a career in engineering. It doesn't mean that I was excelling and always scoring very, very high, but the main thing is I always had a curiosity to learn and understand and do well in those subjects. And in engineering, I had the option of either choosing computer science or electronics and communications, and I ended up choosing electronics and communication because I felt that was a wider variety of subjects and would give me more experience in more traditional industry, rather than IT, which was the big buzzword at the time in India. And yeah, so a little bit maybe by chance and a little bit by design, but finally, life is what you make of it. And I joined this trade, and I worked hard, studied, enjoyed it, learned a lot, and then entered the workforce, and finally ended up working as an electrical engineer, in fact not having studied electrical as a focus subject in any case.
Well said. And the point I would like to emphasize here is that we do not have to excel in any area, but we need to be curious and wanting to know more. Life is what you make of it. These are the words we want our younger generations to hear, isn't it? It is all in your hands, and you are the maker, the creator of your own life. Can you tell us what changes have you seen in the energy sector and about the emerging technologies in this industry?
I mean, the industry just in the last 2 decades, it's phenomenal to think how much things have moved. As I was sharing with you earlier, I joined this industry when in India we were still quite power starved, and we were building out infrastructure with coal-fired and gas-fired power stations. And today I think India is deploying one of the largest renewables deployments every year. When I joined Australia in ABB, my first project was to replace a control system at Hazelwood Power Station, which, if some of you might know, was referred to one of the dirtiest brown coal-fired power stations in the country. And I remember driving out 3 hours from Melbourne to go for project meetings, and then commissioning the system with engineers from the team. And today that power station is replaced by a big battery energy storage system, which reflects how much things have changed just in the last couple of decades. So the energy industry is going through a massive transformation with mega trends around electrification and digitalization. Of course, the challenge against climate change. And that's why I'm pretty proud to be part of this industry, as we are trying to, definitely we're a key contributor in moving the needle in the right direction.
I mean, these are really massive changes happening in the energy sector. Hazelwood produced about 25% of Victoria's electricity and was responsible for about 14% of the state's emissions. I remember taking my students for an excursion to the Hazelwood power plant a long time ago when it was coal-fired. But now it is all being digitized. This also proves that gaining digital skills is very important for the younger generation. I believe it is important for viewers to know what changes can you see happening in the energy sector or the electrical industry in the next 5 years.
Firstly, this will get amplified at scales that we have not seen before. Today, if I just look at the business that I'm responsible for, which is power systems, we're seeing a huge drive for growth in utilities. In a place like Africa, where 600 million people are still don't have access to electricity, there's a lot of electrical infrastructure that is yet to be built out from an access to energy perspective. Then if you move across to the mega industries that are big consumers of power, like oil and gas or metals and mining, they are also trying to reduce their carbon footprint by, again, connecting to renewable power to build this infrastructure. So they're decarbonizing the infrastructure, which again needs more electrification and equipment. Within their processes, there's a strong focus to reduce the carbon footprint, and hence, electrifying many of these thermal and heat-based processes, which again needs more electrical infrastructure. Another big driver is the digital economy, with a very young population across in this part of the world. In Middle East Africa, there's a huge demand for data centers and the digital economy growing significantly, which again, data centers are huge consumers of power, and you need a lot of clean electrical infrastructure to deliver this. Another mega trend is that all of this equipment that we're supplying and solutions that we're providing are connected, are digital, which can be managed and tracked through mobile phones, through cloud-based software. You see a lot of innovation happening in this industry, which we weren't seeing in the past, and that's because of the huge demand and a high expectation for technological advancement in this industry.
It is fascinating to know what changes will happen in the next 5 years in the energy sector. Addressing climate change seems to be one of the biggest hurdles for most of the countries, and some of the most effective solutions are digitization, electrification, and improving the green energy. I can't imagine the number of job opportunities in this area, as I'm already starting to see the demand for the electrical renewable courses in the universities. Nirupa, what should the students be doing to prepare themselves for this big change?
Firstly, I would say you are gladly I welcome you to join the electrical industry, because electrification is at the center of a major transformation at the moment. Is at the center of, I would say, the climate change challenge. Is a key solution to the climate change challenge. And I would encourage you all to consider a career in this industry. Just because of the magnitude of the work that we will be undertaking as we transform the energy sector over the coming few decades. And we don't have a lot of time, as you know, with the science-based target of 1.5 degrees. None of us have a lot of time to make this happen. And companies like Schneider Electric are committed to help do their part in this sustainability drive.
Areas such as renewable energy is a part of the electrical industry which is in very high demand. The global warming is on the rise. I mean, we can already see the effects such as bleaching effect on the coral reef, melting of the ice in Antarctica, sudden heat waves, increase in floods and so on. We need to take this matter seriously and contribute in any way we can. What advice would you give to the young women out there in the community to be successful?
Just reflecting back a little bit on my career. Firstly, I think I've always been and continue to remain curious. I continue to remain open and willing to take on new challenges in my career. I think the one pivotal moment was when I decided that I can't be holding myself back in this industry as I worked and decided to have a family, and that came with a lot of complexity, but that required a constant, or I should say a clear decision in my own head that I have to make this work and that I will be a part of the workforce and continue to be a part of this transformation of this industry. And I think it's a great place for women to be, because companies like Schneider are super committed to diversity. Just look up this company on their website and just look at the profile of our ex-com, which is what I did before I joined Schneider. And you can see that they've made a massive commitment to diversity, and they mean it. I think it's a great time to be in this industry, because companies like we are all committed to making a change, which gives us and opens up a lot of opportunities. So gone are the days when I used to be the only woman in a meeting. And today, even though come to your mind that in Middle East Africa you would be seeing a lot of female leaders, and in fact we are there. We're very well represented. There's a lot of work to be done, but we are well represented, and I feel quite excited to be able to have a career for myself and pave the way for others behind me to follow.
It is great to know that the number of women are increasing in the electrical industry. The key points to be taken are: be creative, be open, be ready for challenges, have a clear decision of what you want in your own mind.
I think we're past the stage where we want to talk about business case for having more women in the company. I think it's not a case about the business case anymore. Finally, what we all need is a diverse and dynamic teams, and that can only be built when you bring people from different backgrounds, from different that are bringing different skill sets and a different voice to the table. And you don't want to be leaving behind your top talent because they're female, or because there's bias, or because you're not creating an environment where women feel comfortable to work. So you have to make it a priority. And what I would highlight is that it can be done, and it starts from the top. So when at the top in your industry or in your company you decide that you want to make diversity a priority, start by changing your own leadership team and bringing in fresh talent. Start creating an environment where women want to work and want to join the team. And if they're not, you're going to have to reflect a little bit why not, and what are the things that you need to be changed. And finally, it's really an organic phenomenon that once you get a few women in your team, suddenly more want to join, and then others want to join, and it becomes a little bit of a silent revolution without you having to make much effort actually past a certain point. So I would suggest, make people strategy a priority, diversity a priority, and then take the right actions that are visible and not just talk. And you will find that you will be able to move the needle, and consequently, of course, the business results will be more than evident when you have a diverse, highly motivated, engaged team in your workforce.
What an advice to the industry. And yes, I would echo, do not leave the top talent behind. We have diverse teams. Have an environment where women would like to join your company and be a part of your team. Be welcoming, and you will see the results for yourself.
So this is my small journey that I wanted to share with you today. I hope I hope this was useful, and of course I again invite all of you women to come join the energy industry, which is going today through a big transformation, and be a part of this transformation to help deliver a carbon neutral future for this world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nirupa, for having a great conversation and all the knowledge that you have shared and educated us.